Hey guys, my name is Claude and welcome back to my channel. This is episode 1 of my mini-series on how I became a truck driver. Let's get into it. During COVID, trucking was booming. A girl I was seeing at the time suggested that I get my CDL. I had a decent job. I enjoyed what I did and it never crossed my mind to become a truck driver. Fast forward to 2022. She suggested that once again I get my CDL. She went and got her CDL through a private school. But she lacked the necessary experience of being over the road. She was planning on buying her own truck and she thought it would be a great idea for us to team drive. I thought it over and I agreed. Since she was located in Texas, she suggested instead of going through a private school, paying out of pocket and looking for a job, it will be easier to find one of those companies that puts you through school and training. And once I get the necessary experience, we can go ahead with her plans of being able to team drive in the near future and I can teach her everything I know. I got online and looked for a company that offered tuition and a job in Texas. Stevens Transport came up. Those black and red logo truck looked awesome, and after going over some of the information on their website, I filled out the form to request more information from their recruiting department. They called me right away. The lady I spoke to was nice. She explained everything to me. They hire from every state, and all I had to do was send her my driver license info and driving record to see if I would be eligible for tuition. I did. She got back to me the very next day. She had good news. I was eligible for tuition, but unfortunately there were no more seats available at the school in Texas at Stevens headquarters. But she could send me to school at one of their school partners in Keensburg, Colorado, Carrier Worldwide. I agreed. She put me in touch with the school. They confirmed everything. They explained how their programs work and what will be needed during my stay with them. Also, the recruiter from Stevens did the same, explained the process more in depth. They will send me to school, transport and boarding will be provided. Bring warm clothes since it was winter, boots and comforter. A minimum of $800 cash is required.
In 650 feet.
The program at Career Worldwide will last about 3 weeks. Once I'm successful and obtain my license, I would travel to Dallas where I will go to more class. I will go on the road with a trainer. I will be paid weekly during training and that will last also 3 weeks or more based on how fast my trainer and I complete my task in the booklet provided by Stevens. They offered to pay for my Greyhound ticket for my upcoming travel to Colorado, which I kindly declined due to past bad experience with Greyhound, and book a flight at my own expense. They gave me a date when I will need to arrive at Career Worldwide to start the program. At the same time, all the hype about trucking died down. The money wasn't the same. Me and that girl no longer talk, but still decided to go through with it. From the small research I made, I terminated the lease to my apartment, put in a 2-week vacation notice at my job. Yes, you hearing that right, I didn't quit my job, but instead took a vacation. I'm a simple man. I didn't have much to begin with. Besides my apartment, my car, and my job, I didn't really have anything. With my lease terminated, my car, and the care of my sister, I was already debating of quitting my job, but I had 2 weeks of paid vacation. And if I were to be honest and told them my plans from past experience, I'm sure I would have been fired and lost both weeks of vacation. Also left a back door open just in case if I go to Colorado and everything went south, I can always go back to my job, get a new place, and continue living my life. So after a few days after my birthday, I was in a plane on my way to Colorado. I landed on a Sunday afternoon. For the people flying in, we will be meeting the van at a car rental agency at the airport. At the rental place, it was quiet and fairly empty. Besides me, there was also an older gentleman sitting in the waiting area. We both got a phone call from the van driver. He was outside. We made our way to the van. A few guys was already in the van. I'm assuming they were picked up at the Greyhound terminal. It was my first time in Colorado. The drive to Keensburg took a minute. Keensburg was a small town about 40 minutes to an hour drive from Denver. It was quiet. The van driver dropped us off in front of a small building, next to it a slightly bigger building that looked like a small townhome. We were introduced to the school owner. He took us for a small tour. At the beginning of the block, there was a small restaurant, right next to it a small building with the business name on it where we will be attending class and meeting. Next to it, the small townhome apartment where we will be staying upstairs. Downstairs is the office where the small staff that run the school work out of. Next to it was a small Mexican restaurant, then a laundromat. Across the street, a bar and a small supermarket. He made it clear that we have access to anything except for the bar. If you go to the bar to get a drink, they will make you pack your bag and go home. If you go to the supermarket and buy alcohol, pack your bag and go home. Once again, Keansburg was a small town where everyone knows everyone. If your face was not familiar, they will automatically assume you're staying at the driving school, and any attempt of purchasing alcohol will result on the locals informing the school, and you will be swiftly terminated. He laid out the rules of termination of the programs. Any attempt of purchasing or drinking alcohol, pack your bag, you're going home. Any attempt of purchasing drugs or doing drugs, pack your bag, you're going home. Harassing the locals, pack your bag, you're going home. Any altercation with another student or instructor, pack your bag, you're going home. 2 attempts to take your permit test at the DMV, if both fail, pack your bag, you're going home. And finally, also 2 attempts at your final CDL exam, if both fail, you're going home. He finally showed us where we will be staying for the next 3 weeks. There was a large kitchen with some appliances that we could use, a shared fridge to store groceries, a large living room that we could use to study and socialize. As he walked us to the rooms, there were already some guys there. They are from the class before us, waiting to get tested before they get sent to Dallas, Texas. I may be wrong, but if I remember correctly, there was 5 bedrooms. In each room, there were 3 bunk beds and a shared bathroom. I got lucky. In my room, there were only 2 top bunks that were available. Me and the gentleman at the airport jumped on those. It was the cleanest room in the house. And the 6 of us came to an agreement: you keep the room and the bathroom clean and tidy. Some other guys were not so lucky. They had to share the room with people that snore and feet that smell like a gym closet. As we settled in and started to socialize with the guys that were here before, the van driver came back and dropped off a few more guys. And during our conversations, we realized that none of us had the same information about the program. The guys that were here before told us that tomorrow everyone here will be drug tested. We will see a physician to determine if we were in shape and healthy to continue with the program. They will give us a study guide for our permit, and we will have 2 days to study before we go to the DMV for our permit. I already took those permit tests in my home state, and they were the same. We started talking about the money, on how while we were in school we would not be getting paid. But after we get our license and get on a trainer's truck, we will be paid. Some people, recruiters told them they will be getting $800 a week. $1,200, none of us had the same number. Some people were completely lied to and realized they got tricked into being recruited. My recruiter did a fantastic job about explaining the program to me in depth. She did not sell me a dream. After obtaining my license, she said I will be making $500 a week while I'm on my trainer truck. Once I'm done and get my own truck and I'm on my own, I will have the opportunity to earn more than that based on how much I drive. Before it even hit 5 p.m., a young guy has already gotten in touch with his recruiter. He realized that trucking would not be for him. The van took him back to the Greyhound, where his recruiter bought him a bus ticket back home. Monday came about. For the previous guys, they woke up early to board the bus, taking them to the practice yard. For us, we went downstairs where the staff went over our information again. A young guy did not list prior incident on his driving record and had to be sent home. Everybody else was drug tested. We all saw a physician, some of us that were on the bigger side. He told us we will have to do a sleep apnea test once we get to Dallas, but everyone else was in the green. We went to that small building where we met with the owner. We had to fill some paperwork in the event that after some of us get our license and decided to go back home to work with a different company, Stevens will not be paying them for our tuition, and this paperwork made us liable for the debt. He gave us our study guide and told us to get ready to go to the DMV. I personally didn't need to study much since I already took the test a few times in my own state. For some reason, my permit couldn't be used and I had to get a permit from Colorado. Came test day, our class of now 10 guys were put in 2 different vans and sent to 2 separate DMVs. My group went to a small DMV office. The other one went to a DMV in Denver. I was told this was done to make sure everyone can get tested twice if need be without running out of time. The test was easy. Everyone passed and got their permit. Surprisingly, only 2 class in a long time has accomplished this. Most other class had to go back and get retested more than once. Now we all had our permit, it was time to join the practice yard and get behind the wheel of a semi-truck. Thank you guys for watching. This was episode 1 on how I became a truck driver. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Wait for part 2.